Yeah, 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
So I'm going on and they're taking it and sending it to Laura.
Too many points of contact. It'll tank you.
How are you doing?
I was hiding. That's better anyway.
How you doing, buddy?
Hey.
You should be I gotta make some money doing that. I gotta finish some lines and just for the start. I'm writing the action movie for the Rodney King. Yeah, you're very accurate. So I gotta make a little bit but this guy's makes a lot of movies. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll keep you posted. I'll see you. I got a couple of festivals next week.
When you post it,
Yeah, I got, and then next month we got Austin Film Festival, or Austin Film Festival, it's a top Asian festival, and Austin Comedy Short Festival, and so it'll be fun. Some fun stuff.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, come on, we can do better than that. Good morning. It's so good to see you guys. It seems like it's been forever since we've all been together. As you can see, we had a little bit of a flood here in the training room. That was fun. We had that one storm that literally, I think, covered our office and downtown Georgetown for, it was like an hour, and the rain just came down. I think we got like 2.5 inches in an hour. The rain was coming into the side, and we realized at that point in time that the people who did our parking lot didn't grade it correctly. They graded it into our building and not away from it. Yeah, here's what the training room looked like on that day. There we go. Yeah, so we built a dam, and we kept water was about this deep here in the training room. This is after it soaked into the carpet. Luckily, we have such absorbent carpet. And yeah, it was a little bit of an interesting day. But we got through it, and they've raised the door, and they're going to replace that door, and everything should be fine. They'll put everything completely back together by Friday this week. So that's why there's part of the wall missing in certain areas. So anyways, I wanted to start off. How many of you guys saw that post that I put up about this book right here, Make Your Bed? If you haven't read this book, it's like $10. It's probably one of the best reads you'll ever do. It's based off of the speech that was given by Admiral William H. McRaven. He gave a speech at the University of Texas in 2014. And he's got some basic principles in there that you learn as you're going through the Marine Corps boot camp at Camp Pendleton. And I wanted to start by reading just a real short excerpt from the book and really from his speech that he gave at the University of Texas. He said, "Tonight there are almost 8,000 students graduating from the University of Texas. That great paragon of analytical rigor, Ask.com, says that the average American will meet 10,000 people in their lifetime. That's a lot of folks. But if every one of you changed the lives of just 10 people, and each one of those folks changed the lives of another 10 people, just 10, then in 5 generations, 125 years, the class of 2014 will have changed the lives of 800 million people. 800 million people, think of it. Over twice the population of the United States. Go one more generation, and you can change the entire population of the world. 8 billion people. If you think it's hard to change the lives of 10 people, change their lives forever, you're wrong. He says, I saw it happen every day in Iraq and Afghanistan. A young army officer makes a decision to go left instead of right down a road in Baghdad, and the 10 soldiers in his squad are saved from a close-in ambush. We get to make things happen for our clients every single day. We change the lives of so many people. And the average person who doesn't have the opportunity to be in a field like we are, where we get to talk to people every single day because it's literally what we do, what kind of an impact are you leaving on the lives of your clients? And more importantly, what kind of an impact are your clients leaving because of the impact you left on their life? You see, I believe that what we're doing has longevity and is far going to exceed anything that we're ever going to imagine. We're leaving an impact on the lives of so many people that we have never met and probably never will meet. So talking about leaving impacts, Dina, you have something that you want to share with us today, right?
Yes, actually.
So it's going to be pretty impactful for our businesses.
And Bobby.
It is not about unicorns.
It's not about unicorns, I promise.
Take it away.
Okay, Bobby's going to give you the particulars, but we have an exciting product with TDHCA, and it's a 3.75 interest rate. That is amazing. This grant lasts. It is a grant. It's an unassisted down payment program, so it's just straight interest rate. It can't be combined with anything else. But it's a great deal for those that maybe have the money but want the lower interest rate, and it's government only. So I'm going to let Bobby take it away and tell you some details.
That was pretty much it. No, but essentially,
well, there we go.
One of the problems we have with the market right now, and David and I were talking about this earlier, is you have the people that are on this bottom end over here, and about half of Austin can't afford to get into a bottom end home, those 200 to 225, 250. Right now, rates for FHA, VA, USDA, the government products, which is specifically what this is, it's not a conventional rate, are up in that 4.75 to 5.25, depending on interest rates or depending on credit scores. All you need is a 620 or better and you can qualify, and you're at a 3.75. That gives a lot more buying power. Another situation that I had recently was actually twice. I had a couple of veterans that were looking at the tax vet program. Right now, that tax vet program for disabled vets has an interest rate of 3.83%, which is just a little bit higher than this. So you figure, not that big of a deal. But some lenders charge 1 to 2%. So if you're looking at a $300,000 property, that's an extra $6,000 of closing costs that these guys don't have. So if anybody that's coming entry level that's looking anywhere from $250 down, it does have income limitations. I believe it's $86,000 for 1 to 2 people, 90 something after above that. But please talk to your lender, call us, ask about the program. Do we qualify? Can we get into it? Ask, because we have not had these types of bond programs since 2006. We used to do them all the time. You've got your grants for your second, your down payment assistance, but just getting the low interest rates have not had in 12 years. So when I first saw this, I was thinking, I remember these, we'll see how it goes. $29 million was put into the fund, so when it's gone, it's gone. They may reimburse it, we don't know. Sometimes they do, sometimes they wait for the next fiscal year to come up. So if you do have probably people that are looking into low-end properties, or really anybody that fits into that income state with 86,000 or less than 100, kind of figure out based on family size, call us, ask about that. Any
Yep.
specific details?
I have a question for you. On the income, if you have a couple that are not married, and one of them could qualify, do they have to count the other one?
Well, the problem with that is on government loans at B and FHA, we are looking at who's on the loan. So it's really who's on the loan. Now, of course, liability is gonna be factored in also, but it's who's on the loan that counts.
Okay, so if the man in this case who makes enough money, he just wanted to apply, they wouldn't take any consideration.
Right, they have to do a non-purchasing spouse, but yes, you could do that.
USDA.
It does have USDA. USDA is still considered a government loan, even though it's structured like a conventional. I still consider it a conventional loan, just the way it's structured, so.
Anything else?
Sir.
Seller pay closing costs, maximum?
Seller can pay, just like FHA or VA, USDA guidelines, they can still do the same. 6% on FHA, and you know, that 4% deal with VA loans, that's just a number they throw out there, there's a lot of particulars involved. They can pay all closing costs, but in today's market, it's really not happening. But I am starting to see a few more, hey, pay 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, it's starting to sprinkle back in there. So ask anyway, you know. Dave.
Can you send us an email about the program that we can then send to our clients?
Absolutely, and I have
You
a
know,
flyer.
forward.
I didn't get enough of these printed, we'll leave some outside, but I'll send an email so that it can be sent out to everybody. If you have any questions, just give us a call. So, thanks.
Yes.
Any other questions?
One over there.
I have one question. Most government grants have a funding fee from 1 to 3.5%. What's the funding fee?
It doesn't have any fees attached to it. They do have about $125 or $225 administration fee that gets tacked on. So instead of closing costs being, I don't know, say 6,000, it's going to be a couple $100 more. But it beats the heck out of those additional fees that are getting tacked on. So yeah, it's a great opportunity to pretty much get in with just a low interest rate. That's the only thing different about it. Just make sure that your lender understands how to get the TDHCA files under. They're not fun to deal with sometimes. A lot of them will say it's a 6-week process. I've never closed one in less than 30 days, so I mean, right at 30-day mark. So just be careful. Bond programs, you're always going to want a week or extra, do something extra, any special programs. But normally they're 30 days like anything else.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Way to go. All right, so quick question. How many of you guys watched that video that I put out the other day?
Which one?
Thank you, David. The one about Kelly and the snaps and how you can really integrate that into your database. All right, so how many of you didn't see it? All right, so there's like 4 of you. All right, perfect. Homework, watch the video. And for those of you who did watch it, what did you think? Yeah.
I loved it. I used it with my ship shopper, and she's getting ready to list her house. So
What
my ship shopper. So
what is-
Shipt is like with HEB, groceries come to your house.
Okay.
So we were just chatting, and she said that she was thinking of moving within the next year, and I was like, well, what neighborhood do you live in? And she loved it.
Good. Yeah, David.
So on this, on the Kelly Snap, what I'm noticing, they had gotten it corrected, and now it's not. The active average price versus the sold average price are not correct.
Okay.
So you gotta be careful when you send that out, because we were looking at one recently, and it was like 1,400% below the active.
Okay. Whenever you see something like that,
I've already sent it to them.
perfect.
Where does
Yeah.
the data come from?
It's pulling it from public records and from the IDX feeds that we have.
So
Yeah.
in the area I'm working, in Parker Heights especially, I haven't checked all of Killeen. It has more neighborhoods incorrect than it has correct as far as their boundaries and their names. And
So it's pulling that information actually through nextdoor.com. So yeah, because that's where we got all of that information from, is our partnership with Nextdoor. So when people use that Nextdoor app, a lot of times there's crossover between neighborhoods. Like in my neighborhood, I live in Summercrest, and University Park is right next to it. Well, it was smart enough to realize that those are 2 different neighborhoods. Yet our feed for those neighborhoods still is extremely similar.
this is a little different than that. It's like it'll have a general boundaries of an actual neighborhood.
Okay.
For instance, the neighborhood I live in.
Yeah.
It has the boundaries exactly right. The name is completely wrong. It calls it Quarry Trail. It's actually Evergreen.
Got
And
it.
most of the other neighborhoods, instead of being their actual neighborhood name, it'll just have like crossroads that happen to be in it.
Okay. So what I would probably do, because every time you utilize Kelly,
I
if
have sent feedback.
yeah, when you send feedback on there, just make sure they get that, because that's how they're making the whole thing smarter. Anything else?
I got it.
Yeah.
So if you, like, right now, if you just say snap, it'll snap this area.
Yeah.
Based upon the GPS, which is really cool.
So the premise of this is, we've talked about doing the database too before, and making your phone calls every quarter so that you're reaching out to everyone in your database. I think this goes one step further. So if you go out and decide that you're going to door knock a neighborhood, and you want to use that because it's just easy to send it to them really quick, and it gives them an idea of what the homes on the market look like. And is that information going to get better over time? Yes. So the features where you talked about how that data was not absolutely correct, that's going to get better. And it's probably already better today than it was yesterday. What I would encourage you to do though is, when you go to command.kw.com, which you guys should all have access to now, and you create your database in there, tag the people in your database based on the neighborhood that they live in. Because then each quarter you could just go through and say, all right, today I want to send out a market snapshot to everyone that lives in Berry Creek that's in my database. You could do that. Or Summercrest, or Georgetown Village, or Terra Vista. You choose the neighborhood. And then you could just do one market snapshot for that day, and then just reach out to them individually and say, hey John, I was doing a market snapshot for your neighborhood today, and I wanted to send this to you so that you know what's going on in the market. How are things going for you? That's your opportunity to reach out to that person and be that local expert and provide value to them. And really, you're doing one more thing. You're just asking them, how's life? How many other agents are actually doing that? The National Association of Realtors statistics shows us that less than 90% of them are ever following up after the transaction is over. So this is just one more way to make it that much easier, and you can target people based upon where they live and where you already know they live. So that the script that I use was, how many of you wear a name tag? There's a bunch of you wearing name tags right now. Who's been asked the question, what's the market like? How many times have you said, great? Where did that really get you? Did it get you closer to having that person's contact information? No. Did it help you build your business? No. Did it provide value to them? No. So now you have a tool that's in your pocket all the time where when somebody says, what's the market like? You can say, well, where do you live? And you just type that neighborhood that they live in right into there. And if it doesn't come up correctly on there, I don't know if you've noticed or not, but you can scroll out on that map and then choose the correct neighborhood by just tapping on it and send it to them. So if it doesn't say that the neighborhood's name is right, but you can see on there that that's actually the neighborhood they live in, just let them know, hey, Snafu's showing it's the wrong neighborhood, but you can see here on the map, that's the street you live on, right? And then you can just send them to them like that. The benefit to you is you've just added them to your database by doing that, by gathering their contact information. And now if you were to do that quarterly, by sending them out some kind of a market update, that's going to help them immensely by knowing what's going on in their market. It's going to help you because you're providing that value to them. So I wanted to show you a couple of things that they showed us at Mega Camp that I thought were absolutely awesome. Who was at Mega Camp? All right, so Tom, what did you take away?
My big thing was just the amount of money that people make on profit share.
Okay.
I mean,
Like how much?
900,000, $1 million a year.
Yeah. Quite a bit. Yeah. Ryan, what about you?
I've never been to Mega Camp, so it's kind of like family reunion, but I went to the leadership portion and I heard different MCAs talking about what they're doing in their market center, and makes me realize I need to step it up, so it's good.
All right, so here is a brief overview of what happened at Mega Camp. I think it's this one right here. Of course, it's going to ask for my password.
Do you ask who all has signed up for Kelly? Is everybody in this room signed up for Kelly?
I sure hope so.
Everybody in this room? Okay, awesome.
How many referrals, Scott, have we gotten off of the office has gotten off of the Kelly app?
We're at like 60 referrals. Yeah, we're at over 60 referrals just in this office alone that have been generated through the referral network and through Kelly. And before it was just a paper trail that you'd have to go and get a signature on, but now you can do it directly through the Kelly app. All right, so this is not the video that I wanted. I want the other one. Let's see here. Nope. There we go.
We've taken the labs process and we've condensed it down.
We're going from ideation to general availability in 4 days. We have about 3 labs per day with 16 agents each, and we have an hour with them each.
We are hyper-focused on bringing in our agents for every step of the process.
Getting feedback, masterminding, having critical thinking exercises.
We are physically putting a lab in the center of the floor, in the middle of the action with all of our agents, and we're bringing them through the entire process.
Meanwhile, we have the designers and the developers listening and actually putting that into design and code immediately.
We brought agents in on day one and we asked them to ideate.
They want us to tell them what to do. They're like, it's not for us, it's for you. And they're so open to any crazy idea you think might be crazy. They're like, yeah, we can do that.
We held 3 sessions. We said, tell us, what is it you would like Kelly to do?
Today we labbed about mapping our contacts in our database. So having a feature in Kelly where we can actually say, show my contacts within a certain neighborhood or within a certain area.
And one of the things we talked about too was to be able to drop an insight in that area to say, hey, I'm at this new restaurant that just opened up, and to be able to send that to people in a certain radius.
Or if we're driving down the road and we see a new listing, we could share it to all of our contacts that are in that neighborhood.
Agents came up with an idea of how could they map their database with Kelly, asking it questions and putting it on a map.
We had agents come in and design what that experience looked like.
Labs is for agents to design the technology. It allows us to take the technology and actually make it work for us instead of us trying to figure out how to make it work. It works for us instead of the other way around.
The focal point was always like, do you want it? We can do it, versus, well, I don't know about that. Well, that's it's a tall order.
Today, we're actually walking them through the flow in a prototype, and they're giving us feedback of what they like, what they don't like, what's missing.
So you can actually see within the span of 2 days, we were able to go from idea to actual physical working prototype.
So this is crazy fast.
The most surprising thing to me about the lab was how quickly everything was done.
It's amazing how fast they're making those changes.
We're gonna have this actually in the Kelly app for them to get value from it for their business.
All of these tools that are being created are really providing value not only to you, but to your clients. And you have this unique opportunity to be part of the recipe for success.
One of the reasons we can do this within 4 days is because of our technology infrastructure and Kelly Cloud.
We can build and build upon the foundation that we've laid down. And all of those services, all of those experiences we've built, it really enables us to just move at an accelerated pace.
It's a tremendous feat. And I don't think we even grasp how amazing that is.
We are so far ahead that others just aren't able to catch up.
You're not going to be able to get this level of just synergy with any other product that you use on a regular basis.
The fact that we're meeting our agents where they are, the fact that we're bringing them into the process, not just here at MegaCamp, but on a weekly basis, actually on a daily basis, they're there with us.
They truly are asking us questions, taking our answers, and then implementing our answers.
It's their products, it's their experiences that we're bringing to market.
I feel like I designed it.
To be able to see all that was done in a week, I'm just like, this is really exciting. Like, what does our future look like?
So some of y'all had the opportunity to go to a lab recently. What did y'all think about that? Yeah?
It was pretty awesome. Seeing some of the technology that the company's coming up with, how interactive it can be with your database, it's pretty unique, and it'll cut out a lot of time as far as staying in communication with your CRM and your automated, so it's, adds a lot of value to your customers, versus what we have now.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Also anticipating their behaviors. For example, you can see kind of what they like in a home. They create what they're calling a home DNA.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can target listings that match their design preference. You can also see what they're liking multiple times, so that you can anticipate, hey, I see you like that house, or you opened it 3 times. Let's go see it this week. So
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
Anyone else been to a lab that want to share their experience? Cesar?
Yeah, it was great to see how involved they are and all the feedback that they take, and even I brought up the language preference because our clients may have different language preference, and they were very open to that, and putting that in.
Yeah. Good. Okay, so you saw.
Kelly's gonna be bilingual.
Yes, Kelly will be bilingual.
No,
not yet. It will. It will though. All right. So you saw what when people sat down and said, "Here's some of the things that we want." Well, over the course of 4 days, they put together a feature, and here is what it looks like.
Hey guys, we're here for a special behind-the-scenes edition of Latest in Labs.
We're showing off what you have accomplished in just 3.5 days at MegaCamp.
All right, let's get to it. Keller Williams, we're here with Audie. Audie, tell us about what you guys have been doing over here the past couple days.
Yeah, and so in Labs, we always talk about how we build technology with agents. So we took this opportunity at MegaCamp to do our first ever Labathon, where we labbed with agents about what new Kelly skill they wanted to build, but we did it really fast. So to show the true power of Keller Cloud, we ideated on Tuesday, and we actually have a build in production today, and it's Friday at noon. And so what we've been doing here is building a new Kelly skill that agents wanted to build called Map My Database. Essentially what they wanted to do is, based on their geolocation, now that they have command, is visualize their database around them as they're out in the neighborhoods and on the streets. And so what you can do is you can go to Kelly and you can say, find contacts near me. And what it'll do is populate your database, and you can filter them on groups, whether they're agents, recruits, or even your contacts. And you can see very quickly information about them. You can contact them, and basically any information you have in command will be visible in Kelly. And so a couple of the use cases we got in Labs from agents was where they wanted to do pop-bys to their home or work address and drop off some gifts when they were in the area, or if they just want to visualize their market share, and if they can see what areas they have a lot of contacts in and where they don't, so they can take more territory. And they talked about using that in their listing presentation as well, showing, hey, here's all the buyers I know in this area. Do you want to sell your home with me? So it was a very powerful concept that agents got really creative with. And one of the most creative use cases we got was they talked about Harvey last year and how valuable it would be able to map your database. And so you could see in Houston when it flooded last year, they could see which one of their clients were impacted by the flood, and they can reach out and do something about that. And so we went from a very simple skill of show contacts near me to a very creative solution that agents can use in their business today.
I can't believe you guys were able to build that in such a short amount of time, and I can't wait to get that power in the hands of our agents.
Yeah, and just to clarify, we built it today. It's going to go in the next Kelly update, but you'll need to have access to Command, which is in limited availability, to use the new Kelly skill.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, Audie.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
So if you have not gone on to kwconnect.com and under technology and chose the labs feature, make sure you go and do that and sign up for the labs. You can also, I believe you can also do it from the Kelly app by just texting in like sign me up for labs. That way you have access to all of these things when they come out. I also sent a lady named Teresa Metcalf an email this morning, who's Josh Team's assistant. He's the head of technology for our company, to see if we could just go ahead and get everyone automatically enrolled in our market center onto all of those things, because we're really, really going to be pushing these things and encouraging you to use them. The reason why is it does so much more than just help you sell homes. If you notice what they said right there, this feature would have been absolutely incredible had it been available last year when Hurricane Harvey hit. Imagine that there was a natural disaster or something bad that happened in a particular area, and you could pull up your database and see all of those people who live there, and it just show you on a map. How impactful is it going to be when you reach out to them and say, I see that you're in that area, or that your home is in that area. I just wanted to check to see if there was anything I could do. Or let's imagine that there was a sinkhole that opened up and there's a cave under their home. Right, Lee? Just a little cave. Now you can see, okay, well, I've got clients on that street. One of them lives right in front of where their driveway used to be. And you can reach out to them and say, hey, how can I help? Is there anything that we can do? So it goes so much further than just... I know, there you go. Yeah, it goes so much further than just building your business. It's maintaining your relationship and helps you to continue to do that. Now, a couple of other things that I want to talk about that you should have access to right now. Actually, you do have access to it right now. Is this feature right here. And we're going to be ordering signs for this. We should have the signs here probably early next week. Let me make this screen a little bit bigger. All right, so you see that? How many of you guys have seen those sign writers that say, text this number to find out more information? Well, that's normally a service that people pay about $100 a month in order to have, or they pay for a CRM that includes that. Well, now that's available to every single person that is a Keller Williams agent. All you have to do is text the number, and go ahead and pull out your phone. Pull out your phone, let's give it a shot. So you're going to text the word details to 53553. And if you want to know what 53553 is, it's the word Kelly. K-E-L-L-E. 53553. There you go. You're going to get a link back as soon as you text the word details to 53553. It's going to say thank you for your interest. It's going to have a link that you click.
It says keyword not found.
With the word details?
All caps?
It doesn't have to be all caps. 53553. 53553.
Yeah, it worked.
It worked? Okay.
They fixed it on the spot.
Yours says keyword not found? Okay.
I did it again and it worked. So.
Try it one more time, see if it works that time.
I had a space after details and I think that might.
It could be because everyone in the world is trying this feature at the exact same time. I tried it this morning, it worked just fine for me. But what it's going to do is, how many, you all have it? Raise your hand if it worked. Perfect. Raise your hand if it didn't work. All right, so like 20%. Okay, so here. Let's try it again.
Okay, I wrote details down here first because it kept giving me her numbers.
5, 3, 5. Then hit return. There you go.
Oh, and hit return.
And then text details.
Here?
Yes. There you go. And then you just click the link. Okay, so here's what the purpose of this is. It can pull based upon GPS. So you get to choose the option that you want on there. When you click that link, you can either choose to allow it to have access to your location, and if you choose that, then it's just going to pull all of the listings around you, or the one right in front of you. If you choose to just put in the address, you can go ahead and do that as well, and it'll pull that listing up. It's automatically, as soon as somebody does that, it's automatically going to create a custom landing page for you with your contact information, and it's going to do it based upon your listing. So once it does that, and people do that based upon their GPS location, it will automatically add that. It'll send you a push notification through Kelly and let you know, hey, somebody is looking at your property right now. And then the other iterations of this feature that they're working on right now is as soon as they have that landing page that's created to you, it's also going to have a link at the bottom that's going to allow them to search for other listings. And then through Kelly, it will allow you to see what other listings this person is also looking at, and it'll add that, it'll show you what their contact information is because they've just texted that number in, and it'll add that person's contact information to your database as well. so that you can reach immediately out to them and say, hey, I see that you're looking at the property, how can I help? And if they want to schedule a showing, you can do that right then and there. Yes, Sue?
So does this kind of replace the KW app?
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering.
It's not going to completely replace the KW app. The KW app is going through a facelift right now. They're completely changing the way that it looks and the way that it feels. This is going to be more for to give them instant data about the home. So you know when people are driving through a neighborhood, if there's a sign that has this on there, people are more likely to probably just go ahead and text that number to get information about it. And a lot of people are paying a lot of money to have this feature. We've just taken care of it for you, so you don't have to worry about it. We'll have sign writers here that you can put on your listings, so that you can start utilizing this immediately.
So why do you think some of us are getting keyword not found?
That's a good question. Let me ask you this: of the people that raised your hands, who's your cell phone provider?
Verizon.
So it's not a service provider.
No, mine's AT&T.
Well, yours work though.
Mine work. With your help.
That would be.
Scott, I had to do it twice.
You had to do it twice?
Yeah, I got a key.
I've done this about
Okay.
5 times already.
And it's saying it every time for you. Okay.
Does it matter if it's putting a hyphen in the number?
No, that shouldn't matter at all. If you guys could you send me can you just take a screenshot of what it shows you and text that to me, and I'll send it over to the people at Labs.
The other thing that we're seeing different, on mine it says, see closest to your location, so
Mhm.
it can actually
Yeah.
stand out on the map. David can't see that on his.
Doesn't show up on mine.
It's not an option on his.
You may, under messaging, you may have your location services already turned off. If you have that turned off, that will not, that feature will not work. Yeah, you have to accept the location services when it comes up. Yes.
I have a question, because
Yeah.
I already am paying a service for this.
Mhm.
Cancel that. So, like on mine, I had put in a code like DBS5, and it
Mhm.
pulls up my listing. So with this, they have to be sitting in front of something,
Either in front of it, or they just have to type in the property address.
or the address, and
Mhm.
then they'll make it custom. Okay.
Correct.
What if people, I guess they wouldn't be just searching on the app, would they just be searching for houses or whatever, and then would it come back to?
So when they go ahead and search for that first property, it's not available yet. It will be available very soon. At the bottom of that first page that they look at, it'll show, there'll be a link at the bottom that says see other listings similar to this one, or other listings in this area. When they click that link, it's going to update you and let you know here's all the other places that they also looked at.
But everything they see will be branded.
It'll be branded to you, correct. Obviously, it's going to give credit to the other agent who has the listing, but it's going to be branded to you. Kind of the same way, like if you were to go on Zillow and search for properties, it's branded to the agent, and it gives credit to whoever the original person that took it was. Yeah.
But you still have to set them up in the system first for it to come back to you, otherwise, if it's not your listing.
If it's not your listing,
Right.
yes, that's correct. So if they're just out there driving through a neighborhood looking at different properties, it's going to pull that one agent up.
Okay, unless you have them in the system already, or?
Even if you have them in the system already. Yeah. So.
It just shows one, there's 3 right there around my house.
Are they Keller Williams listings?
No.
That's why.
Oh,
Yeah.
it just shows.
It's only going to pull up Keller Williams listings.
Oh,
on
right
it.
now because it's in test phase.
Correct.
Even with
Yes.
location service on.
Yeah.
But
We'll take a look
I'll-
at it.
I'll send it to them.
Okay.
Yeah, even with either.
So-
It's not working for me either.
It's not perfect yet, and it's not going to be perfect ever. There's always going to be things that are going to need to be changed about it. It's something that we put out there to save you money and to add value to you. And I promise you, in the next 3 months, it's going to be something that you're absolutely going to love, because it's going to save you time, and it's going to save you about $1,200 a year. Yeah.
So one thing I want you guys to understand, I had an agent call me late last week who used to be at KW, has been following what's going on, and they are actually coming back to KW because they realize that if they don't get in, they're gonna lose. So it's a great recruiting tool.
Well, not only that, but I believe that if you don't adapt and you don't change to the way that the technology is going, there's going to be two possible outcomes. You do adapt and you're going to be here in 3 years, or you don't adapt and you're going to be out of business in 3 years. Because things are changing so fast and technology is adapting so quickly that if you don't jump on it and take advantage of the resources, you're going to be Blockbuster. An interesting story about Blockbuster is Blockbuster, I don't know how many of you have heard the story about them, but they did it to themselves. They put themselves out of business. You see, there was a feature that Blockbuster had called Blockbuster On Demand. And it was around the same time where Netflix was gaining its popularity. And at that point in time, Netflix was still a streaming service. And it was really more we'll send you a DVD service. And Blockbuster already had huge relationships with these major motion picture companies and created Blockbuster On Demand. Well, Blockbuster decided to pay more attention to profit than to possibility. And for so many years, how many of you have paid attention to Amazon? Well, this is really the first year where Amazon's ever had a profit. And they've had a profit of billions of dollars this year. Before that, they were just investing money into their infrastructure. Well, Blockbuster chose not to invest in their infrastructure. And at one point in time, the CEO of Netflix went to Blockbuster and he saw how popular their Blockbuster On Demand service was. And he said, "We will buy all of your subscribers." And at that point in time, this guy who was in charge of the streaming service at Blockbuster, he said, "That's when I knew we had them. We were going to be able to overtake them." And then he had to go into a board meeting that next week and talk about what he figured out. Well, the CEO of Blockbuster at that time, he didn't want to hear it. And he said, your product is losing us money right now. And so we're going to can it. You're not going to do this anymore. And he said, but you don't realize Netflix has just offered to buy all of our subscribers. He said, I don't care, we're canning the product. Within 18 months of making that decision, Blockbuster declared bankruptcy and they ceased to exist. I think there's one still in Brownwood, Texas. And the last one in Alaska recently closed. And the only reason it was in Alaska for so long is because they didn't have internet streaming capabilities of more than 56K. And you can't stream a movie on 56K without waiting 6 years for it to load. So they did it to themselves. We're at a place in time in our industry where we must adapt to become digitally based and physically enhanced. Before this, the model was physically based, digitally enhanced. We've flipped it on its head. We have to embrace the technology, and we have to embrace where we're going to become those digitally based agents who maintain the relationship through being physically enhanced. Does anyone have any questions about that? We want to be Netflix. We don't want to Netflix ourselves. Yeah. So in all actuality, Blockbuster Netflixed themselves. Yes. Please, we will put one together. You just let us. We'll put one together in September where we go over all of these things. If you want to have one later this week, I'll look at my calendar and we can go over what we've got available right now. Because it is that important that we adapt to the technology that we have right now. Because I want each and every single one of you to come to me in 3 years and say, hey, guess what? I'm still in business. And not only am I still in business, but look at how much more I'm doing because these other people didn't adapt. You see, I believe that probably in the next 4 or 5 years, the National Association of Realtors membership will probably go down to somewhere in the neighborhood of 700,000 or 800,000 people. It's over 1.4 million right now. So your competition is going to decrease. Are the amount of homes going to decrease? No. The business is going to stay the exact same. The people moving is going to be consistent. It's just how you adapt to the technology now that's going to give you that competitive advantage over every single other person out there. The other thing that I would encourage you to do is we are not the only company now offering free mortgages. There are other companies that are doing it. So Keller Mortgage, if you have not given them an opportunity, I want to encourage you to give them an opportunity. Is it perfect? No, it is absolutely not perfect. Are there flaws? Yes, there are flaws. And we're with a company that when you tell them what is wrong, they will do everything in their power to make sure that the problem is addressed. How many of you guys have used Keller Mortgage so far? Perfect. How many of you guys have had an issue with it? Perfect. It's out there because it is a way to save the consumer money. You see, there's other companies out there like Redfin and now Zillow who just announced that they're going into the mortgage industry. What is their sole purpose? Their sole purpose is they want to cut the agent's commission as low as possible. Why was Keller Mortgage created? Keller Mortgage was created because those other companies who are going to cut the agent's commission as possible, they're in business to make money on the back end, right? They want to make the money where the consumer is not realizing it because it's hidden in a bunch of other numbers. Which is why we created Keller Mortgage to begin with, is because we wanted to say, hey, you know what? We can save you money. And here's a product that's going to help you do that. So with Keller Mortgage, there's no lender fees, and there's a $1,000 credit at closing as long as the home is over $150,000. If it's under $150,000, there's just no lender fees. That $1,000 credit isn't added. And then the goal of Keller Mortgage is to make sure that the appraisal is ordered while you're still in your option period, and ideally that appraisal gets back while you're still in your option period. Why is that important?
So you can negotiate during the option period.
You can negotiate during the option period. You still have the ability to back out. Yeah. And if for any reason you choose to back out, who's paying for that appraisal? Keller Mortgage is going to pay for it. They're not going to pass that cost on to the consumer. They're willing to eat that cost. Does anyone have any questions about that?
That's good.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you get them pre-qualified?
You can, when you have your KW app, you can send them a link directly through there, or you can go to Kelly and say Keller Mortgage, and it's going to create a landing page specifically for you that you can text out to whoever it is that needs to get pre-approved. And they work 7 days a week, and most of the time they'll get back to you on an application within an hour. So, yes?
That page or that disclaimer that goes along
Mhm.
with that, do we have to get that signed, or does the Keller Mortgage?
Keller Mortgage gets it signed.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about that
No.
other than just
Correct.
making them aware.
Correct. Yeah.
So for my daughter's, since she's in the Navy and all of her friends that are, have said, hey, when we wanna buy, we're gonna come to your mom, can I send them that link even though I'm gonna refer them out to another agent
Absolutely.
in the area that they're in?
As long as it's a Keller Williams agent.
Yes.
This has to be a Keller Williams agent that's on one or both sides of the transaction.
But they can use the pre-qualification through my app versus because of referral.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And if you have somebody that wants to refinance, they're doing refis as well, and they still give that no lender fees, and if it's over $150,000, they still give the $1,000 credit. So, all right. Who's got a new listing they want to tell us about? Sure.
I have three. One of them
Not just
is
one, but three.
The first one is 20 acres out in Briggs with an address of Killeen. It's 20 acres fully fenced, one gate in the back that basically allows cows to go onto the neighbor's property if needed. But it is 20 acres, it has a lot of topography, it has a dry creek that runs through it, it has a couple of really neat building sites on it. Does not have electricity, does not have water, but it is 20 acres fence that the owner is using for ag exempt cattle, horses, etc. Listed at $298,000. Second one is a property in Pflugerville, 815 Plumbago Drive, listed at $259,900, 2,100 square foot. It is white limestone, 3-bedroom plus an office, 2 bathrooms, gorgeous property, open house this weekend. And the other one is my house, 80 Santa Maria Street in Georgetown, Rancho Siena neighborhood. I'm in the lock and leave section on 1/3 of an acre. The house is 8-foot doors, cathedral ceilings, and 900 square foot 3-car garage that fits a monster truck because my husband is, the only difference between men and boys is the price of their toys. And fully fenced, solar screens all the way around, built on cedar posts with solar screens that come down to protect the hot tub, the back patio, etc. Listed at $400,000.
I got to tell you a quick story. Brian told me the other day he thought it was hilarious because he did a Matterport tour for you.
Yes.
And when he called to schedule it, you said, "Be really careful. The owner is mean."
Actually, I said.
Or oh, you said that.
Be careful, the owner bites.
Yeah, and then Brian shows up and it's Sherry's personal home, so he thought it was hilarious.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Who else? Yeah, Debbie.
I've got 4. Okay, I've got,
Man,
25 acres.
one up. Whoever next has to have 5.
25 acres, it's on 1105 between Weir and Wahlberg, no restrictions. It can be multiple uses. Just use your imagination because there's no restrictions on that one. 15,000 acre, 375, that one. Then I have about 21 acres. It's right off of County Road 150, but it's actually only about a mile east of I-35. Beautiful flat level, hardly no trees, but great location, and it's at 25,000. That's what the buyer requested. So we'll see how that goes. But it is, the only restrictions on that are no mobile homes and no commercial, which is getting the big restrictions done for that. Then I have a beautiful 34.5 acres in Thorndale. It's actually just out of Rockdale, but it's Thorndale School District. It's beautiful, roping arena, big trees, lots of trees. Stock pond with channel cat, bass, perch. I mean, it is a gorgeous. The house sits up high. It's a beautiful place. 419, because this is Milam County, low taxes. So that's here, twice that. Then I have another 18 acres with a home, 1659 square feet. It is Travis County, even though its Leander address is basically just kind of southwest of Liberty Hill. Some of the most gorgeous, huge live oak trees I've ever seen. The house sits up at a high. There are gorgeous views all around. Just, I want a word of caution, the road sucks, it's bad. I'm telling you, it's country road, okay? It's private, so, yeah. Well, use a truck if you have, or at least a 4-wheel, not a 4-wheel drive, but, a vehicle, 18-wheel, I'm not 18-wheel, but what am I trying to say?
You know, just casually take your 18-wheeler out for a drive that day. Yeah.
That one is 549.
Hey Tom, you remember the time you got your car stuck?
I have some flyers on all these if anybody wants them. And then I have them if I can make it on an old listing I have up in Harker Heights. It's a big house. I mean, it's a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 3276 square feet. They reduced the price again to $239.9, and I am personally giving a $500 bonus to the buyer. The buyer's agent that gives me a buyer. It's gorgeous. So please try to sell that for me.
Awesome.
That's it.
Travis?
We have one.
7 listings? What?
We have 7 minus 6 listings. 6 are pending, so we have 1. First of all, my name is Travis Washington. My wife is Crystal Washington. We met a few people here, but we're new to the team. We just transitioned over from another brokerage. So nice to meet everyone, first and foremost. But we do have one listing. It's for $389. It's 2,881 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, off of 29 in Water Oaks. It is the lowest priced 4-bedroom house in the neighborhood right now. Mature trees on the lot. Brand new, was built in 2017. The family had to move out for another job, so it is priced to sell. Just like mentioned before, we are doing $500 contribution to the buyer's agent. And then for the house, it will be on the next tour that we do on the west side. We will also have that Thursday of that week, which is September 13th. We'll have a happy hour open house at the property. We'll have some wine and some margaritas for y'all to come out and check it out. The address is 1220 Falling Hills Drive, Georgetown, Texas.
Falling, F-A-L-L-I-N-G.
Falling Hills Drive, yep. Again, it's 2,881 square feet, 4 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, elevated ceilings, mature trees, hardwood floors throughout, and also a study downstairs.
Okay. Anyone else? Yeah.
I'm relisting my listing at 329 Cedar Lake.
Okay.
That one is 3260 square feet. Now it's painted. So all the 5 different colors downstairs are gone. Brand new flooring inside. The vinyl plank, real nice vinyl plank inside. So I'll have it active again this afternoon.
Good.
I was learning this. So we're waiting for A-board to put
There
it
we go. All right. Anyone else?
Where was that again?
That one is in Wood Lake. It's 329 Cedar Lake. It's
Right next to HEB.
Right next to that HEB.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
It's Williams Drive.
All right.
Does anybody typically go to Bourbon County and do any sales? Okay. So I have one at Granite Shoals coming up. It's on 3/4 of an acre. It was built in 1966. Stager will be going out soon. It's a little over 2,000 square feet, 250,000.
Where? Where in Granite Shoals?
It's on East Cottonwood. I'm forgetting the subdivision name right now.
Great.
By the way, guys, that came off Kelly.
Wait, it came off what?
Came off of Kelly.
What?
Kelly!
How did you do that?
So agents will just send out a blast. And if you're the first to respond, you typically get it. So I got 3 in 3 days.
You got 3 in 3 days?
3 days. 3 referrals off of Kelly.
Kelly?
Wow. All right. So you're going to teach us a class on that, right?
Yeah.
Good.
You better be the first.
All right.
Time,
Any coming soons we need to know about? No? Buyer needs?
I'm sorry, I forgot to mention on mine that it's the lowest price listing under 325 with the in-ground pool.
Perfect.
That's the one that's coming back to the market.
Great. Tom?
Store.
If you got anything coming on the market in Taylor, I'd like to know about it. I have 6 or 7 buyers. Most of them are under 200,000. There are a few that go up to 400,000. We've got a buyer up to 1.5 million. He's hoping for 100 acres. There's one property we're looking at in Florence. So I'm aware of that, but if you have anything that's coming on the market that I can know about, that would be just swell.
Great. Any other buyer needs? Yes.
Coming soon, Bent Tree subdivision off of 3406 Creek Bend on Red Oak Circle. It will be live probably around the 10th of September.
Okay.
And
Good.
it's a very, very popular neighborhood because Pat Gunter from Remax has had the market share in there.
Had. I like how you said had. Great. Anyone else? All right. Does anyone know of anyone that needs to move into a location on the square? Because our old office is available. There's our little pocket listing. And actually, my mother-in-law is moving to another location on the square. So the location where Divine Treasures is right now will be available on March 1st if you have anyone that is looking to move onto the square.
Where
So-
are they moving? Where is she moving?
Well, I can actually officially say because they signed the lease and delivered the money yesterday, they're moving into the location where Antiques and Artisans is. It's right on the corner of 8th and Main.
Across from Century 21.
Right across from Century 21. So you better believe that Keller Williams is going to have a couple signs in her store too. So, yeah.
That'd give her a lot more space.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
What's going on in the corner of University and South Austin where that whole thing?
We don't want to get into it. No, I'm just kidding. The city council bent some of the rules that the Historic Architectural Review Committee has in place that they did not bend for us, and they're allowing that whole building to be gutted, and they're going to make it into a CVS. Seriously. But I'm totally okay with it because we're getting a Starbucks. So.
Do they have a Starbucks? They're gonna have a
Not in the CVS, it's going to be next to it. They're building a Starbucks over there on that corner too.
Sweet!
I know, right? So, yeah. So, I just found that out the other day. The CVS thing I'm not super happy about, but it is what it is. All right, let's welcome our sponsors in. Come on in. Laura from Fidelity National.
Hi,
What's that?
Can we pass this on what you're doing?
I will set it today. We'll have something by the end of the week.
Hey, let's let her pass out and make a
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey everybody, it's not too late. Did anybody lose this? Oh, now that I have everybody's attention. It's not too late to sign up to help out with the Alzheimer's Walk if you want to donate or participate. The date is actually
September
the 15th. And I can get you more information, or you can just go by and look at the link on my door. Sign up, support, thank you so much.
There you go, we're good. Okay, can I begin?
Please.
Okay.
Take it away.
Hi, I'm Laura and I'm with Fidelity Home Warranty and I'm very limited on time. So I want to talk to you about something that's come across my recent desk, and it's inspections regarding home warranty claims and inspection reports. This past week, this is a true story, I'm passing out these inspection reports, and if anybody wants one, I thought y'all would share.
Is this home closed?
Yes.
Oh, good.
And I marked out the thing, but I want to tell you what we go through and what your home buyers go through in regard to, because you do get the home warranty, right? In order to cover the expensive systems in the home. What's the most expensive system in the home? HVAC. HVAC, exactly. And during this time in summer, that's the first thing that's going out. Here's what I'm coming across, if anybody wants a copy for themselves. Apparently, agents and the buyers are not communicating properly.
No.
Can you believe that? Okay, let me tell you the scenario. And I'm not kidding. I had probably my 10th call today within 6 days in regard to a repair of an HVAC system. They just bought the home, just closed like 2 or 3 days ago, some are maybe within a week, and then they call me up and they say, hey, my HVAC's not working. And I go, oh, really? Okay, so when did you close? Oh, well, I just closed like last week. Oh, okay, well, we're going to require the inspection report then, because you just closed. So the report comes to me, and here's an example of one of them that I passed out. Here's some more if anybody wants to read it. And if you read this report, it specifically states they recommend that the HVAC system be checked and repaired. Well, somehow, and that's where I brought Don with me. He's from BPG Inspection. Somehow, and I don't know what the fall of communication is, but somehow, when they're doing the repairs and they're deciding the repairs, guess what? The HVAC isn't addressed, okay? So I had to tell 10 people this week, one today, that their claim is being denied because on the inspection report, one example right here, HVAC is recommended to be serviced. HVAC is this, HVAC is that, HVAC this is wrong, that is wrong, that is wrong. I don't know where the failure of communication is, but then I have a buyer calling me, and I kid you not, they're irate, they're calling me all kinds of names, they won't quit calling me, blah, 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 I'm to remain cool and calm, and I finally say, send me your inspection report. Send me the inspection report. I take it to the chief examiner in San Francisco. She looks it over and says, we're denying the claim. Specifically, the HVAC needs to be repaired. And it wasn't repaired or addressed at the time of closing. We're denying the claim. One man had to buy a whole new HVAC, and I heard about it, I don't know how many times, $7,200. Then I go, okay, I get the report back from the chief examiner, and I have to call him up. I go, okay, pull out your inspection report and let's go over page 18 and 19. This being the example right here. We go over it, and then after that, he doesn't say anything. Because it's apparent that the HVAC needed to be repaired prior to closing. So he's no longer mad at me, but guess who he's mad at? You. Okay? Then he's threatening lawsuit. Oh, I'll never recommend that agent again. I can't stand her. Blah, blah, blah. Then I have to hear all of that. Then I have the agent call me. And I'm going, okay, you know what? We're going to have a calm discussion here. Pull out the inspection report. Let's look it over. Here's the HVAC report. What part of that did you see that didn't tell you that it needed to be repaired? So the purpose of you getting a home warranty, if I'm correct, is to help your clients have peace of mind after closing, but you have to make sure that the two most expensive systems in the house are repaired prior to closing. So, with that being said, I want to let Dawn talk and say, how do you present your inspection report to a buyer and an agent after you've done the inspection? Where's that loss of communication coming from?
Well, first of all, I like to have the client there whenever possible. That's key to the whole process because they can see the pictures right away. Your buyer wants to know right away what's going on with the home. The big five especially, any foundation problems, HVAC, what's the most expensive thing I need to worry about? So we want the communication right away with the client there. We also encourage the realtor to be there. I understand though that some brokers don't encourage that, and I understand and respect that for the liability and stuff, but whenever possible, bare minimum, the client should be there to go through the findings right away, what's most important. And in case of a bad HVAC system or one that needs service, or even one that's functioning well, I've been getting a lot that are functioning well lately, but they're from 98, 99, 2000. And those are the ones that are they're gonna need to budget for a new system within the next 5-10 years. Because
In other words, every day is a gift that thing works, okay, when they're that old. Go ahead, I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, that's a good point. So it's important that the client be there. We always encourage it, so that they know right away what's going on.
During the whole inspection or just the last hour or when?
I always tell them, you're more than welcome to come from the very beginning.
Okay.
Bring a tape measure, bring your kids, pick out the rooms you want, that kind of stuff. I don't mind that at all. Some inspectors shy away from that, say, I don't want to be bothered, come at the end,
Yeah.
Either way, sometimes it works out to where their work will only allow them to show up at the end. Sometimes they're out of state and they can't show up at all, so the realtor comes. That's, we work with what we got. But I always encourage people to come. The other day I had one, everybody but the client was there. The client was in New Hampshire, but their sister was there, their brother-in-law, the realtor, who was their other brother-in-law, and their cousin, and kids.
And they had a potluck, it was awesome.
Yeah, fun times, good times.
Go ahead.
Something I've seen on inspections that ties in is, especially on ACs, power, there's a lot of CYA comments in there. Get this replaced, get this checked out, we recommend it, and they do it on every inspection. It doesn't really matter, it's just part of that, the program that y'all seem to be using. That's gonna also tie in to the warranty companies come back and say they mentioned it. Well, they mentioned it in every single one of them.
I agree with that, but on this one specifically, it has to say we recommend, and they do that to cover
Yeah, CYA.
CO, yeah, exactly. But you have to kind of look at it and use common sense, like, wow, that does look like a really bad issue, or that really does look like it's about to break, or it's so old that yes, every day it is a gift that it's working. I really think we need to take a look at that. You have to use your common sense to do that and use your judgment. But most important, it's communicating with that buyer, because all that work that you've done with that buyer, once you don't cover him and protect him, you have lost that referral. Yes, sir.
Did you underline this, or was this underlined on the report when it was presented?
I underlined it.
Okay.
I just wanted to let y'all know that it's there. It's there, and I just wanted you all to point it out because I didn't want you to not miss that. But another thing I wanted to let you know before we finish, Fidelity Home Warranty has the strongest AC coverage right now in the industry. My competitors are only covering like 10, okay, we know y'all know Freon is gonna be non-existent in 2 years. They're gonna quit making Freon. I don't know about you, but I've only covered one home with Puron. That means 99.5% of those units out there are Freon. And that's what they need to be careful about, whether that home warranty covers Freon or not. At Fidelity, we cover it at 100%. What's the cost of Freon going for right now, Dawn? About 140?
Last I heard it was 110, 20,
Yeah.
could be.
Okay, well, it's 110, 120 and rising. In the year, they anticipate in 5 years, the EPA, because we went to this comes from Fidelity. Fidelity has informed us that they're anticipating Freon to go up to $500 a pound. So you think about your client that needs a repair on their AC unit and then has to dish out money for Freon if they're not under the Fidelity Home Warranty Plan, because we are probably the last home warranty company covering Freon right now. All my competitors say they cover Freon, but if you look at the fine print, and please look at the fine print, they're only covering $10 a pound, $20 a pound, about $20 a pound. So who's gonna pay the rest? The buyer. So I believe our plans are very, very affordable. We're here to help you. If you have any questions, or your clients have any questions, they are more than welcome to call me. If you have questions in regard to the inspection report, you're going, hey Laura, if I get a Fidelity Home Warranty, is this gonna fly if there is an HVAC problem? Send it to me. I'll send it to my chief examiner. She'll review it for you for free and say, well, I think you should do this, and I think you should do that, and I don't really think you should audit, you know, that one might not be that important. And so therefore you can cut down the cost, and then you have that information from us, and we're gonna cover that home warranty when that HVAC fails. Because we've already looked at it and we've approved it or whatever. If you have anything in question, just call us, let me know. And I'll have my examiner look at it. And then you'll have a letter from my examiner saying, okay, you said all of this was fine and everything's been addressed, so we expect you to deal with that. Any questions? Yes, sir.
Okay, so you get this report, and all the inspectors that I know of always include that you should have the HVAC. So if you got, and you're doing your amendment for repairs, and you ask them to go ahead and do the service check on
Yes,
it,
sir.
and do a service, you know, they come out and do the $69.95 service report. And will that be acceptable?
Yes, sir. Keep the invoice on anything, let's say the inspection report addresses, and then you've had it repaired or you've had it looked at or whatever, keep that invoice. And when they do have a claim, they can show us, hey, look, I took care of that. And that's what we want. We want to make sure they took care of it. Me nor any other home warranty out there is going to cover pre-existing conditions. That's just not Fidelity. We'd be out of business. We cannot go in and fix everybody's home that did not pass inspection. It's just not feasible.
All right.
So I guess I'm done. We're gonna stay here while y'all have lunch. If you wanna talk to Mayor Dawn, you're more than welcome to.
So do you offer seller coverage when it's on the market?
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. $60 for 180 days.
All right.
Cover air conditioning.
Yes, but we have a limit on it, $1,500.
Let's give it up for him.
Yay.
For 180 days.
Can you transfer it to the buyer?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Y'all have an awesome day. Enjoy lunch.
I hired you.
Y'all grab lunch.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Send out like the main type No, I didn't get it. Yeah, you're right. Probably 30. And then I'm I'll have to